Okay, we're back again. My pump on part A had a stuck valve, so I had to unstuck it to get it to work. Okay, now we're going to go down and get ready for the 3-inch. We're just going to run epoxy clear out to the outer set of lines along in here, and put some epoxy down on the top of the 2-inch. We're going to roll this seam once I get the 3-inch down and wet it out to even out the epoxy and to get rid of any runs that may have developed. Okay, we got that wetted out. Let's bring in the 3-inch cloth. Now we're going to bring it underneath the cross strut. I'm going to bob its little ear over here so it won't pile up on that big seam. I need to go to the dollar store and pick up some more cheap scissors. Epoxy tends to do a number on it. By pushing it down, what you're doing is you're forcing the fibers on that lower side to compress. We want them to compress somewhat so that we'll have room for the weave along this side to expand. That way we don't have to cut darts, which are little clips when the glass doesn't want to go the way you want it to go. Okay, we're going to wet out this bottom half. Get it to stick down and stay in place. Trace any of these little curly cues that are trying to rise, move them back and forth. That'll get them to flatten down within a reasonable distance. I got some there, just work them back and forth. Maybe take them over to a neighbor that's got some extra room. If you can't, just chase it along. Depending on the area of the hull, sometimes the tape starts out 3 inches, but it'll wind up maybe 2 7/8 or 2 3/4 because of the way the weave compresses and stretches. Okay, get that baby wetted down. I'm up on the transom here. Keep an eye on the lines we marked. Keep them straight. Get that epoxy flowing. You can come back later and move it around with the brush. You're trying to get as much down and as much glass as you can, wet it out to the plywood. If you do that, it'll hold in place a lot better. One thing by doing both layers at the same time, you don't have to worry about the 2-inch glass tape that I've found. It always seems to have a fairly thick selvage, which is the weave along the edge that keeps the glass tape from unraveling. And when it gets epoxy or fiberglass resin in it, it wants to thicken up and stand proud, and you got this little ridge you have to sand down. Where'd my line go? Okay, I'm gonna have to scoot some material forward here. Cure that do the bowsing when you get done, down to that end. Okay, well now we're gonna really pour on the epoxy to get this stuff to hang down. Get it down underneath and push the glass into it. Come back and cover it up on top, get that baby to go clear so you start seeing that plywood. I wonder if I used up my YouTube 10 minutes yet. Okay, I'm down to the bottom of this cup. Let me mix, come back. So we've gone through 2 cups now, so that would be 3 ounces so far. Okay, you can see how it's trying to roll up on me here, so we're gonna really soak it down along that lower edge and then press the glass down into that thick pool of epoxy. And then keep an eye on the line, so you're starting to dip down. And then pour it on and wet it out. Get that glass going as clear as quickly as you can. You might need to lift underneath to put some down. If your cuts up here don't look quite right, that's fine, don't worry about it. The only person that's going to notice it'll be you. Once you get the other layers on, even you won't be able to tell. Okay, now we're going to go along and kind of push these clear spots farther into the epoxy. Get them to wet out. Press them down. I'm getting a little bit of lift in that spot because it was a little too dry in there. And don't just set on one spot until it goes dark. Go ahead and move along, because it'll the epoxy will flow into those dry areas, like right here. You come back a couple, 20 seconds later, and they've gone clear. They've wetted out. Okay, we're back again in the new setup. Come along and let these areas out that look a little dry. Press the epoxy into it.